The Premier League season is about to start, and I cannot tell you how excited I am. My team, Liverpool, is obviously going to be playing the first game of the season in just about 24 hours from when I am recording this. A lot of transfers have happened, a lot of teams have strengthened, some have gotten a lot weaker, and yes, the transfer window is still open, so please bear in mind at what point I'm uploading this video, because I'm going ahead and doing my predictions for the upcoming 2025-26 season for the Premier League right now. So let's begin with the ones in the relegation zone. For me, it just has to be Burnley. I mean, it's obvious. Everyone will probably put the 3 promoted teams into this section, but I actually will have one outside of it. But Burnley is the first one for me. You've lost James Trafford. You've also lost CJ Egan-Riley on a free to Marseille. Your defense looks very different going into this season. And up top, you will need goals. And I just don't know if Broja is that guy. They have purchased him for 23 million euros from Chelsea. They also brought in Ugo Chukwu, who I'm just not confident in yet for a player that will go ahead and save a team like Burnley. I really struggle to see a way of this happening. I really love some of their signings, specifically Kilinci Hartmann from Feyenoord. I've always been a big admirer of him, but I do think Burnley have they don't stand a chance this season. I think they're going to fall apart. So yeah, relegated, sadly. Going over to another team that has been promoted, Leeds United. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I love the signing of Stach. I'm so excited for him to join Leeds and showcase his abilities. One of the best all-rounders in Germany in the past few years in that midfield. He has like a cult following when it comes to like football content creators in Germany. They absolutely love him. They also brought in Bijol from obviously Udinese. They have made a couple of decent signings. Even Lucas Perry as a goalkeeper from Lyon. I really do like that, but I just don't see it happening. They will probably fight for not getting relegated up until don't let me be wrong, but let's say like March. I think they will still have a chance of not getting relegated. But from that point onwards, I think it's going to be kind of clear. Leeds United and Burnley are going to go down. So Leeds, I'm sorry. I freaking love your guys' atmosphere in the stadium, but I just don't see it happening. Now, when it comes to the other promoted team, Sunderland, I actually see them just about surviving relegation. Yes. So that means one of the current Premier League clubs that is actually in a decent position to survive normally, they are going to go down. And I think it's due to Sunderland bringing in, first of all, Xhaka as a new captain. I think a lot of people underestimate how much Xhaka has actually evolved at Bayer Leverkusen. He has been unbelievable over there. I personally was an absolute hater of Xhaka at Arsenal, but over in Leverkusen, man, he was special. The way he controlled the game from that midfield position, the way he moved forward with the ball, the way he was like dangerous outside of the box as well. I think Xhaka will make a big difference there, but not just him. They also signed Habib Diarra, who's going to be a very interesting signing for them. Simon Adingra, who at Brighton has shown really good quality in the past. Enzo Lefebvre, who I really do like, so I'm happy to see that deal becoming permanent for them. I believe he was loaned in last season. And then you're looking at players like Sadiki, Shamsuddin Talbi, which is going to be fun. I don't think a lot of people know about this kid yet, so watch out. Club Brugge always bring out great talents. So I think Sunderland will actually survive and probably finish the season 17th, maybe even 16th. So who do I think is going to go down? I think it's going to be Wolves. It's tough to say that. I think Wolves will still have moments in which they actually look great this season. Some games where they go ahead and shock people, as they usually do. They have signed Strand Larsen on a permanent deal, which I do really like for this team. But then it's like Fer Lopez, Arias. They also brought in David Muller from AZ Alkmaar. So yeah, they have made some signings, but they have let go of Mateusz Cunha. They have let go of Ait Nouri. I am really struggling with believing that Wolves will be in a position to actually do well enough in the upcoming season. I think Sunderland's team and squad overall might actually be better. So, Wolves, you're going down for me. Now, another team that makes it into this category of 11 to 17th. I hope you guys are okay with these categories. For me, it's Brentford. You've lost out Mbeumo. You're going to be losing Vissa probably too. And you have lost your coach, which is like the biggest thing. Thomas Frank is such a good coach. And just yesterday, he put up a massive fight against PSG in the Super Cup. They were 2-0 ahead. And then in typical Tottenham fashion, obviously bottled it towards the end. But it was great to see what he was capable of doing with that team already. So with Brentford losing out on these players, and I do understand they did bring in a talented player in Milambo. They did bring in Kelleher from Liverpool, who's going to make a big difference in this team. They also brought in Jordan Henderson into the squad on a free transfer. But I don't think Jordan Henderson has it in him anymore at the age of 35. I do think Brentford is going to be somewhere down there, 17th, 16th. I just don't see it going any further than that. I'm really low on confidence for Brentford going into this next season. The next team I'm going to put into this category for me is Fulham. I don't think they're going to be in the lower end of the 11 to 17th category here, but I do think they are going to be part of this. I just don't see Fulham pushing up into the top 10. They do have a decent squad, to be fair to them. I think Fulham has always been capable of cultivating a good enough squad to compete for those mid-table finishes, to avoid the relegation zone as best as possible. But this season, they have basically not made any purchases. And it seems like Muniz might be on his way out as well to the Serie A. So I'm going to be following what happens with Fulham in the upcoming weeks of the transfer window. I'm surprised they haven't really made too many moves, but I do still think they have good enough quality in there with a good enough manager to really be in the top half of that 11 to 17th ranking that I have here. Another team that clearly goes into this category for me is West Ham United. Lost Kudus and generally speaking, just don't look good right now. West Ham, I thought, like, what was it, 2 seasons ago when they made all those signings that actually on paper looked like great signings, it just didn't work out. And yes, they have brought in a new left back / left midfielder in Diouf. They have brought in a new goalkeeper in Mats Hermansen. Kyle Walker-Peters has joined them from Southampton as well. But for me, it's just not enough to push into the top 10. No way. West Ham, for me even, I think, in the lower half of that 11 to 17th, maybe like 15th, something like that, I can see happening for West Ham. I just don't see necessarily a good season ahead of them. This is going to be one of those that West Ham fans probably will forget quite soon, but you can maybe build from this, and that's maybe something to look forward to. The team that has basically lost all of their defense, but still made some good signings is Bournemouth. Obviously, Kerkez has gone, Dean Housen has gone, more and more deals, Zabarny has left, but they have brought in Diakite from Lille, who's a very talented, but also already kind of experienced player, 24 years old, can play centre-back and right-back as well. They did bring in Petrovic to go ahead and take over as a starting goalkeeper. I've seen Petrovic play multiple times, even in the MLS, and I really like him. And for the left-back position, they brought in Trufer, who is such a good attacking fullback, such a good replacement for someone like Kerkez, in my opinion. So Bournemouth, I think, is going to be in maybe like, what, 14th? Something like that, possibly. I mean, some of these numbers might be overlapping because I'm talking so much that I might forget what I've just said, but Bournemouth, I see from that 11th and 17th position, somewhere in there. I don't see them struggling against relegation. I'd be really surprised if that happens. I think they have made some smart signings and they might continue to make some more. Up next for me is going to be Everton. Now, I think Everton is going to be at the top half of this list. I'm thinking 11th, maybe even 10th, actually. Everton could be in the mix, especially now with the loan signing of Jack Grealish, someone that really wants to prove himself again, showcasing that that price tag that was put on him when he moved from Aston Villa to Manchester City wasn't really wrong. It was the right thing, but he just didn't fit into that Manchester City setup. It took away too much of his skills. I'm going to put Everton right in there, top of this 11 to 17th ranking, maybe even competing for a top 10 finish with David Moyes and a new stadium, with the signing of Barry as well, a very talented young striker. I do think Everton can be competing for that. So yeah, That's going to be a fun season, I think, for Everton. The final team going in here, I was debating between two teams personally, but I do think it might just end up being Brighton. I think letting go of Joao Pedro and Evan Ferguson in the same transfer window might come back to bite Brighton a little bit. So I struggle to believe that they are going to be in the bottom half of this, but I also think it's going to be a bit of a transitory season for them. They did bring in Costulas, who is supposedly a very talented player, who we have not obviously seen play Premier League football. The Kuiper is an incredible signing. I cannot wait to see him play in the Premier League. I think he's going to be one of those next transfers that's going to be for over 50 million to one of the top 6 clubs. For me, that is clear as night and day. And then, yes, they have signed some other players, but I do think letting go of Joao Pedro and Adingra, Estupinian, and also Evan Ferguson, I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle. So Brighton, for me, go around that top half of this list right here from 11th to 17th, but nothing more. And finally, moving into the 7th to 10th, I think Nottingham Forest are going to get 10th. That is my prediction. I do think Forest do still have the chance to slip down low into 11th to 17th. If Everton do really well this season and things are gelling, the vibes are good, I can see Everton push into that position and maybe take that away from Forest. Brighton, maybe not so much. Actually, I think I might be ranking Everton a bit ahead of Brighton in that case. But anyways, Nottingham Forest, I'm going to put them into the 10th position. Obviously lost out on Elanga, but somehow, who knows, kept a hold of Morgan Gibbs-White. But most importantly, they actually signed some very, very exciting players here, Nottingham Forest. The signing of Igor Jesus, a very talented player from Brazil who I cannot wait to see play in the Premier League. That's going to be quite exciting. Dan Ndoye has come in for 42 million. I think that's a big signing as well. And yes, they have cashed in a bunch of money. So Nottingham Forest, I think, will do all right. 10th position for me. And right above that, I guess I'll be going with Crystal Palace. You know what? I should actually just go ahead and do this. All right. I'm going to rank these teams this way. You guys will be able to see like who I think is going to be last. So right side is last, and then it goes up from there. So Sunderland there. We have Bournemouth. West Ham goes down here. Brentford after West Ham. I think after that, it's going to be probably Bournemouth, Fulham. Nah, I think I'm putting Fulham behind. And then this is the way I'm going to rank it. So then we have Crystal Palace coming in into that 9th position. Even if they do lose Eze, due to how things have gone in the Community Shield and seeing their players and seeing how good Adam Wharton still is, how good Mateta is, how amazing that squad can be, combined with a really good coach in Oliver Glasner, I think they're going to be coming into that top 10. I think they will finish in 9th. Crystal Palace might still make some moves, especially if they do sell Eze. I think something still has to happen in this transfer window for Crystal Palace. So I'm kind of hopeful for them. I think Crystal Palace can have a good season. I really like the team, always liked them, especially due to my career modes and stuff. But Borna Sosa was amazing in the Bundesliga, for example. At Ajax, things didn't work out, but maybe it does for him at Crystal Palace. But so far, it's going to be, it's going to be the 9th position for Crystal Palace for me. Going into the mixer, Newcastle United comes in at 8th for me, especially if Alexander Isak leaves. Yes, they might get Vissa, of course. That is the striker replacement that they might go for. But I do think this whole Isak saga is going to be rattling the club for a little while. I think they have absolutely failed in getting the transfer targets they were supposed to get. I mean, I can just list them all, basically. Trafford, Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško. It just keeps going and going. And Newcastle have been horrible. Whoever was meant to get the deals done for them should be fired. Honestly, I don't know what the hell they are doing. If they do end up getting like 150 million for Isak, which they are obviously asking for, they have to go out and spend big. Like you cannot just cash in. You have to go out, spend big, and improve this team, because there are still a lot of really, really good pieces in this squad. And they just signed Malik Tia, a German centre-back that used to play for Milan, a very talented player who I'm excited about. So I really like that. I also like the signing of Elanga. Elanga on the right, Gordon on the left, Vissa in the middle. I think that's a really good front three. So there is still a chance of Newcastle turning this transfer window around and doing a good job if they do end up getting those 150 million and then spending it on a bunch of players instead of just one, buying like 2, 3 possible starters for their team, or at least people that will be challenging for spots. So I think Newcastle could still have a bit of movement in this transfer window. So I'm going to put them right in there into that 8th position for me. In that 7th spot, I'm going to be going with Aston Villa. And at this stage, you might be wondering, Johnny, last season, Tottenham and Manchester United finished so low. What the hell are you doing? I get it, lads. I really do. And I do think Aston Villa have an amazing squad. Like, their starting 11 and even their bench. I've just done a rebuild for the main channel here as well. I think they are very, very good looking there. That squad, for me, is going to be very much capable of easily getting into that top 6. But for me, top 6-wise, 6th and 5th, it's going to be United. It's going to be Spurs. I think United specifically, I don't think a lot of people look at this. You have to realize that Cunha is going to be someone that gets like 20 plus goal contributions. And Mbeumo is possibly getting around those numbers for Manchester United next season as well. Šeško, in my opinion, will definitely get that for them. You have Bruno Fernandes, who also easily gets like 20 goal contributions a season. United have brought in so many goals into their team now. So for me, this is like, it just makes sense. And Tottenham, for me, I don't even care who they signed, who they're letting go and all that stuff. Bringing in Thomas Frank into this team is going to make a huge difference tactically. Yes, they have signed some decent players. Yes, they have lost Heung-min Son. That is obviously huge. But Kudus has signed. That I do really like. Matis Tel on a permanent deal. For me, he is still one of the best talents out there. You have also brought in Joao Palhinha into that midfield. If you get Fulham Palhinha into this setup, that is going to be very good. And Spurs already have a lot of good players. The only thing that they're really struggling with is fitness. Too many injuries happening. Maddison now with an ACL injury. For me, Eze should go to Spurs. He would slot right in there. That would be such an amazing signing. And yeah, I think Spurs are going to do really well. However, I do believe that Manchester United and Spurs are going to be fighting for this 5th and 6th position mix-up here. And I believe the 5th could get Champions League football again, if I'm not mistaken. At least that was how it was last season. But yeah, I think that's going to be a big battle between the two for that 5th spot. So I have both of them in that top 6. Now, moving into the top 4. I am going to be putting Manchester City in 4th. Yep. I think Manchester City are going to finish 4th this season. I do see the signings. I absolutely love Tijani Reinders. I think he is such a good midfielder. I think he's one of the best in the world in terms of box-to-box, defensive, offensive, technicality, dribbling. He can do it all. But Manchester City, for me, something's missing. Something is missing in that squad. And I just think it might just be the fact that Guardiola has been there for so long that things have kind of become a bit like stale, like a bit boring. I'm going to put Manchester City into that top 4, yes, but I'm going to put them behind Arsenal. Arsenal are going to finish 3rd for me. I just don't believe they have the right mentality. That is the biggest issue for me. I'm not a big believer that Arteta is a good coach. I know this sounds a bit mad. I'm not hating, man. I'm just giving my honest opinion. I don't think Arteta has that winning mentality. I think he has had too many seasons now to prove that he can win trophies, and he has just not done it. And Gyökeres is an amazing signing. I totally get that. I feel like they should have been all over Rodrigo. I think Rodrigo should have been a signing that they make. That left wing position still bothers me. I think they should have brought some players in there. I do like the signing of Mosquera as a backup centre-back into their squad. Zubimendi is a great midfield player. But I think the only thing that's going to hold back this team really is Arteta's ability and the mentality. I don't think they are winners in this team. So for me, 3rd. And here it comes. This is what I personally didn't expect. I didn't think I would have Chelsea in the second position. And this is my bold shout, I guess. But hey, everyone has their own opinion. And I guess this will be the hill I die on. I think Chelsea look amazing. I really do. Joao Pedro, 5 games, 5 goals. Cole Palmer is fit and ready for the season. Looks incredible. Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo in that midfield. The only thing that worries me about Chelsea is the centre-back position. Obviously, Colwell picked up another big injury, so he's going to be out for a long time. If Chelsea end up signing a huge centre-back, which they definitely should do, I think Chelsea's going to be in that second position, lads. Delap, Hato. Oh, yeah, they signed Hato too. Hato can play centre-back if needed. Left-footed. Could be okay. He could play in that position. Gittins as well. But for me, the signing of Joao Pedro and Esteval finally joining into this team, it's getting scary, man. Chelsea have spent a lot of money. I get it. But these players are finally starting to work and they are winning things. Conference League and then the Club World Cup on top of it. They look great. For me, Chelsea going into the season have amazing momentum. And that is why I think they're going to come second. But at the end of the day, Liverpool at the top. And I'm not just saying this because of this shirt, okay? I'm not saying it because I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm trying to be as objective as possible. If you watch my old predictions on my main channel, I always put Liverpool somewhere like second, third, because I just don't see us doing it. I just don't, okay? Now, though, I fully do. Florian Wirtz is incredible. He is the best number 10 in world football. I think he's the best orchestrator in midfield. He is what Ødegaard wishes he could be. Anyways, I think Wirtz is insane. I have watched him at Leverkusen for many years now, and especially that invincible season, especially after coming back from an ACL injury. I think he's going to be the biggest difference maker in this team. He's going to be the one that with the one-touch passing, with the movement of his, with coming towards the defense, picking up the ball and moving it forward, he's going to be the one that makes the biggest difference for this Liverpool team. And yes, we have signed Ekitike. He looks great, especially in combination with Wirtz. There seems to be a connection already. You have the likes of Frimpong. You have Kerkez. I do believe Kerkez is going to get more playtime than Frimpong, personally speaking, if he sorts out his defensive side of the game. I like Frimpong a lot moving forward, but going at the whole thing with Isak, if that deal goes through, Premier League title guaranteed. I'm sorry, there's absolutely no way we don't win the Premier League if we have Isak and Ekitike and Wirtz and Frimpong and Kerkez and of course Gehi and Leone. Leone has just gotten this here we go. I've watched a bunch of footage on this kid. He looks insane. He is just a big talent, Italian old school-ish defender who loves a nice little shoulder barge and likes to take risks at times and gets rewarded from it from referees because his tackles seem to be so clean. Leone is going to be a big one that Van Dijk can build up for the future, but Gehi coming in is huge, especially with Konate possibly leaving still in this transfer window. If we do get those two defenders, I do think Liverpool are going to sell Konate to Real Madrid for maybe 30, 40 million. I can't see that happening because I just don't see us letting him run down his contract. I still hope that we can extend that contract, but if we don't, if we do end up getting Gehi and Leone, and then next summer transfer window, we add in another centre-back on top of it, especially if Konate goes, I think we're looking great, lads. I just think Slot has to find a way to make this team work. That Community Shield game, I hated that midfield. I absolutely disliked the fact that we had Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones starting in a deeper role. Curtis Jones was basically asleep on the pitch. I don't like him at the 6 at all. And I don't like Szoboszlai at the 6 either. I like Szoboszlai a bit further up the pitch. So with McAllister and Gravenberch back into that defensive midfield position for us, I think we're going to look amazing, much better as well. Wirtz is going to have people he can rely on moving the ball from deeper into a more offensive position where he can find himself. And yeah, man, it's going to be a mad season. But that is it. Those are my predictions, my friends. Let me know what you think about them in the comments down below. Maybe even make your own list down below and I'll try and react to them in the comments down below and respond to everyone. But yeah, the Premier League season is upon us, and I'm very excited. Have a good one. Take care, and peace.